What do you think? It's my great pleasure now to introduce some members of the cast of Bill Tilghman and the Outlaws. First, the actor who plays Bill Tilghman, he has the distinction of actually being a Texas Ranger because he played on their baseball team in the first part of his life. He has since had a, really, we should ask him about that. He played for a lot of baseball teams. He's had a prolific career in independent film. Please welcome Ken Arnold. The good guy's good guy. He's coming, I hear. There he is. That was, you're looking pretty good. That was a hell of a fight.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, actually, Richard, where are you? I owe you one. You punched me right in my face, for real.
And look, the real. Have a seat, and we'll talk to you in a minute. Let me also bring on a member of one of the most distinguished families in film and television. You saw him tonight as Frank James. I love his wily smile and that twinkle in his eye. He's in his fourth decade as a film actor, Robert Carradine. Where is Robert? Is he at the bar? He's got his beige hat on. Actually, you almost earned a white hat in this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I was. Thanks, Arch.
Okay, we'll talk to you in a minute. Now, an acting legend whose early career includes the pivotal role in the John Wayne classic The Searchers. She has worked in front of and behind the camera ever since, and she even went toe-to-toe with James Bond in Diamonds Are Forever. She played Mrs. Darling in the movie tonight. Please welcome Lana Wood. And after tonight, I would say that Lana Wood is forever. You saw him tonight in the role of Cole Younger. He started his career early, known for many roles, including Israel Boone on The Daniel Boone Show. I hear he is just the guy you want to have around on a film set because he's a master storyteller, and we might get him to reveal a few of the things that happen behind the scenes. Please welcome Darby Hinton. I'm glad you survived. And with us, the actress who plays Melody Selig. Please welcome Kathy Serrell. Kathy, where are you? There she comes. She's Bill's wife, Zoe Tillman. And you can throw a pretty good punch.
My mistress, well, that's
too.
Oh, really? Well, I'm glad to know that now.
Yes.
And here's the actor who plays William Selig, Robert Marshall. And the guy who put the words in the actor's and actress's mouth, the guy who wrote the script, Dan Searle. And we also have Richard Cutting is in the audience. Richard, where are you? There you go. Well, have a seat, folks, and let's talk about the movie. I think all your mics are on. If you just kind of work them close.
Testing.
Ooh, where should we start? Well, first of all, the fight at the end of the movie.
Great fight.
That
So
That
great.
was
Thank you.
I mean, incredible.
were any animals harmed in the making of that fight?
Were there any animals? No, but my nose was harmed.
Some of the blood was real, right?
Yes. At one point, we were in the middle. I'm on the ground, and he's hitting me, and he hit me. And he immediately stopped and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "What are you stopping for? That was the first real thing we've done all day. Keep hitting me." So, but it was great, to do that and to be able to work with Richard and the stunt team, Jeff Wilhelm and his crew. They were amazing.
Bravo.
So, yeah. So that was a lot of fun to choreograph that and do that with Richard.
You had a big cast of veterans and newcomers, and then it looked like about 100 extras in there as well. And how did you all mix? Who wants to talk about that?
Well, it's a big battle. Lunchtime.
Craft services.
No, it was actually very exciting because I have a lot of people come down and support it. A lot of local people and fellow actors in the town, and it's a lot to handle. And Jill Gray just was amazing in handling.
Jill was wonderful.
Yeah, Jill, our AD.
Here, Jill.
And production supervisor as well. And Jill, I want to give a special shout out to because she was with Wayne right from the beginning, orchestrating this, and it was almost like an unsung hero and how much she really handled on ourselves, and we just tried to support her. But it was really corralling a lot of people and logistics and where people stayed and transportation to and from the set and matching multiple days. And this was filmed, like you said, 17 straight days, but we had several days, months apart, and that all had to match and it all had to be consistent.
Where was the location? Where did you shoot? Where were you?
Berkeley Springs.
Oh, I know it well.
And somewhere
George
actually in Pittsburgh.
Washington's bathtub right there.
Yes, actually. Can you still get a massage at Berkeley Springs?
We did.
Absolutely.
Yes. On our day off, we did.
Yeah, and it's really a massage, too. I don't know why
It
I
is.
said that.
And
But what the hell?
legitimately was.
We
I
also
know-
filmed
How
in
can you
Wayne.
go from George Washington's bathtub
Yeah.
to that? I mean, come on.
It's known for that. It's famous for that. I noticed a couple of scenes where it really looked like it was about to rain, like all heck was about to bust loose. Were you fighting the weather?
Yes.
Every now and then. We
was
even had
cold.
snow.
Yeah, the one scene when they were getting in the carriage, the prisoners, I was supposed to ride up on a horse, but it was so windy that day that the horse would have nothing. It wouldn't even let me get on its back because of the wind. It was just
It
so
wasn't
windy.
a Union horse.
Dang it, you stole my joke.
But yeah, we it was cold for a lot of it, but we did have some nice days. The day of the fight was nice. It was warm that day.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Coming up before the show started, several of the actors told me they'd never ridden a horse before, that you actually trained people to ride. How did that go?
I had not ridden a horse in quite some time, but I went out to Wayne's a few times prior to us going out and shooting, and I was able to get back on the horse and get back in the saddle, so to speak. So I was able to get back into it, and I love horses. It was a lot of fun.
And actually, that leads Lana. Tell me about driving that old Model T. That could not have been easy.
That was wonderful. Everybody was so worried that something was going to happen to that car. I can't tell you. But, yeah.
I mean, you don't just put it in drive, do you? I mean, there's
You
a lot.
don't? Oh, that's probably why they cut the rest of the scene.
A lot of
Son of a
steps, too.
gun. Oh well.
No, seriously. How hard was it to? What was involved in a car that old?
The hard part was the cigar. The rest was easy. The cigar was not good.
Well, would you all like to talk about how you prepared for your character? And let's just go right through the cast, and we'll start down here on the far left. How'd you prepare for your character, and what do you think about the guy or the woman you played?
Well, I play Murphy in
Yeah.
the movie, and
The villain.
so
Yeah.
thank you.
Boo,
Thank
hiss.
Thank you. Yeah, there's 3 bad guys. I'm the bad guy, and then there's 2 good bad guys, Bobby and Darby. So, how do you study pure evil? Wayne's great. Wayne gives you everything you need. Wayne's a terrific director who will walk you through it and take his time with you, and you just break down the moments, and you realize that this guy's got one motive, and it's just to kill Bill Tilghman. And he's an Eagles fan, so that's easy.
Mic drop.
Yeah, that's
We
an
said he
inside
was a
joke.
bad
Ken Arnold
guy.
is a huge Eagles fan. Let's have a big hand for that. But no, pure evil is just it's a straight line, and then everybody else is in the way. So if you stay with that, you should be good.
And what's your side of that fight? I mean, we heard from Ken. What's your side of that?
Well, he put me in jail for a long time, and I'm a guy that doesn't want to be in jail, and I will kill. I'm a sociopath, so my side of that is I want to kill him right there.
And I mean actually manufacturing the fight for the film. Did you
in
land
the fights,
a few?
in the stage combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that started out as about 85 moves, right, Ken? And then we cut
Yes.
we cut it back a little bit,
Yeah.
but not much. And
You got a lovely ballerina type move toward the end where you flop.
Thank you,
right
because
toward that.
I view myself as a geezer in that regard, And Ken is really great to work with because I did clip your nose, but Ken's an athlete, so he did all the work. I just did the sort of the swinging
I do
wildly,
want to say that as the bad guy, you came through tonight, and you appear to be one of the nicest guys in the cast.
Well, thank you.
It's a nice
The
piece of
evening
acting.
genre.
Yeah, I was going to say, fooled you
I'm
again.
gullible.
Mr.
you, Art.
Congeniality.
So let's come down.
Actually,
the line.
I was the last prisoner on the line. I was talking to Don M. out there, and he said, you really should have a name for your character. Somebody didn't show up, so I got to be the prisoner. And I said, well, I've got the name. It's called Out of the Frame.
So that's how you prepared.
And others, yeah.
Yeah, and other things, yeah. For me, I just did a lot of Wikipedia. I like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And watched some old Selig films. And he came from Chicago originally, went out to Hollywood and built an empire. And he was about my age for real, which was kind of cool. And he was a little bit like P.T. Barnum. Kind of, he was told he's sometimes too nice, kind of a laid-back kind of a guy. So I tried to play him as close as I could. And with such a wonderful team, they just made it fun. So.
Yeah, it was. It was a really lovely cast where we all trusted one another, and under Wayne's direction too. For me, I was blessed to play a strong woman who is a mother and supports her husband. So I am none of those things. So I had to go outside of the box and talk to friends of mine, and also watching the genre of film, because that was very important to me. Sarcasm didn't really exist in 1910. So that was a struggle for me. It was. But yeah, it was really
punches
just
existed.
punches.
evidently. You
I
threw.
really found my inner rage.
Did they work with
Yeah.
you on throwing the? I mean, that's.
I mean, they did,
signature.
but they were also like, "Oh God, this one's trouble. She's just gonna do it." They did. We all worked on it, and it was very choreographed. But I was surprised at how much I loved shooting a gun.
Oh.
Pleasantly surprised and yet scared.
Yikes.
I'm single.
Gee.
And she likes shooting a gun. There's a good invitation.
There's a party after the show,
There is, you guys. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Cole Younger was a lot of fun for me. I've been privileged to play a lot of historical people in real life through the years. What was fun about him is he wrote a book on himself.
Right.
So that was one of the things I got to read. And just, the fact is, when I first thought him, oh, yeah, he's that outlaw. But when you see that he was a Confederate hero, I mean, if the war had gone the other way, he would have, had all the privileges and everything else. And I thought that was brought out nicely in this, that, he went from that to surviving any way he could. And then just, the fun to get to play with these guys, put it all together.
And Lana, we've talked about your being a. Would you call your character a mall?
I ain't not really. She's past mall. She's decades past mall.
A senior mall. Anyway,
You and everybody else. No,
God. Jeez, I hope I get out of here alive.
no. I actually, and there again, it was Wayne who suggested Marjorie Main and the characters that
yeah.
she used to play,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was basically what I was going for. But I just had such a wonderful time. It just became Mrs. Darling. That's all.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it just she kind of took off and went her own way, and it was great. Loved it.
And you have a friend in the audience.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Where that one? Over, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
They'll identify themselves after the show. Robert, tell us more about Mr. James.
Well, the thing is, I had it kind of in my head, Stacy Keach
Yeah.
playing Frank James in The Long Riders.
Yeah.
And James was
yeah.
his little brother. And I'm like, how am I going to play Frank James? I'm too young. I'm too handsome. But I relied on my fearless leader, Wayne Shipley, to guide me through the process.
And Ken, more on the hero.
I think Bill Tilghman, it was all about the mustache. Yeah. It took me a little bit of time to grow that. My wife hated it for months on end because after we finished.
And that's why it's not there anymore.
Exactly. After we finished, they were going to do some pickup shots, so I had to keep it for 2 months after the shoot. My wife loved that. But, I did my research on Bill Tilghman. I watched, there's a Sam Elliott about Bill Tilghman, a movie, and I watched that, but I didn't want to, I didn't want to pattern myself after him.
Right.
So I mean, he's iconic. I can't do that.
I
But,
noticed the mustache. I noticed the long guns, the long coat, the clothes. All of that stuff helped you.
It did. It was.
Thank you,
and
Pat.
Yes, Pat Shipley.
Pat, let's hear it for wardrobe in this. Is that great?
Wardrobe.
Come on, Pat. And if you also notice Pat's name in catering too, we
Yes.
also appreciated
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was the food?
Bob's Big.
We had a fun time doing the movie.
If you want a
Great
pork
barbecue.
sandwich, that's where you get it.
Bob's
It's
Big Beef.
delightful.
We had Bob's
The
Big Beef.
horses liked it.
Yeah, the horses love Bob's. The costume for me when I put that on,
Yeah.
it created that character.
Yeah,
In essence, when I walked out on the set, that costume made me Bill Tilghman.
Yeah.
So tell us about the times when you weren't shooting, the off time. What went on?
We all lived together in a house. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we had a couple houses that we
Wait a
rented.
minute, I was living with Bobby. Where?
You didn't come to our house. Let me
well,
tell you,
people
there
had
was bourbon
invitations.
and
Now
chocolate
you
in our
tell
house
me.
all the time.
It was a more economical, because I also was line producer on this, and it was more economical to get these houses that were rented in Berkeley Springs that were beautiful accommodations. And while it wasn't quite all the facilities of a hotel, we could get more people together, and we did. We all became like college roommates, kind of, sort of, and den mothers and den sons and daughters and things that won't ever be told in public.
Real?
Well, I'll tell you
We
this.
will if you have questions. Yeah.
The
I will.
house where they had Darby, Don, me, and Rich was so far away from Berkeley Springs. I mean, you had to get an airplane ticket to get to town. It was horrible. But once you got to town, we had a good time. There was this hotel right in the middle of Berkeley
Yeah,
Springs,
yeah.
which was like the forefront of the Berkeley Springs. And we would meet there every night and eat and drink
3
and drink
hours?
and eat. It was wonderful.
Shout out.
A lot of wonderful restaurants and things that were wonderfully supportive of us, and so the town was very welcoming and wonderful. And even a policeman decided not to give me a speeding ticket when he heard that I was part of a cast one night. So,
Really?
yeah, he
Wow.
did, but that's another story.
I may use that one myself. I like this college roommate thing. Could we enhance? Could
Can I
we-
can
Yeah,
I tell
you heard
can I
my
can
roommates.
I can I tell
Bobby
a quick
Carradine, Don Collier, Murphy.
Yeah. Can I tell a quick story about being roommates with these
I
guys?
stayed in a
Yeah,
bar.
please.
They want to hear it.
So listen to this. We're,
You said you wouldn't tell.
well,
You
I won't
said
tell
what-
it-
what
I won't-
happens
just
in
among
Berkeley
us, okay?
Springs.
Just among us.
It's just us.
So
yeah.
so I had a 90-mile-an-hour tour of West Virginia because we were late to get to a movie one night. We had a night off, and we let Darby drive. And you really, this is a serious, you need some counseling, let's put it that way. Bobby, you're driving next time we go to the
Driver's
movies.
ed.
Yeah.
I had a professional race car driver in the car with me, right? I mean, come on.
Hilarious.
guiding you.
Hilarious.
I was guiding you carefully.
There you go.
What movie did you go see?
What did we go see? We saw
Red Sparrow.
Oh,
that was playing in
cool.
town, but something. What did we saw? Some
Red Sparrow.
You know. We
Did
saw.
you see the comedy with Leslie Mann and John Cena? I went.
I don't know.
I had a day off where I
You
went
guys
to like
remember?
But it was
Dillard's
really
and-
memorable, and they all loved it
Yeah,
a
it was
lot.
great.
Yeah, this is a
Barrel.
great comment on the movie.
But it wasn't as
industry.
good as Bill Tillman, or I would have remembered it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice catch.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
So, there is a reception down the street, and I
Does
understand.
that mean food?
Food and
Food and
drink,
drink.
open
Wait,
bar.
did you say drink?
Yes, I
All
said
right.
drink.
Yes.
It's
Whiskey, please.
all down there, and I think everybody is probably anxious to get there and have fun. Does anybody have a quick comment they want to shout out, or should we go and
Even a
party?
question.
Also, thank you for coming and
Thank
supporting
you guys.
the
Thank
movie.
you so much. Cast and
Yes,
crew and
absolutely.
guests
All right,
and
take her
friends.
easy.
So many
My
people
dear
behind the
friends
scenes
were in
that
the
you don't
audience
see.
as well.
Bravo, hats off.
I
Thank
think
you.
I heard party, so we'll see you at the party. And
Thank
one
you,
more
Dan,
big
for
round
writing
for
a
this
Thank you,
great
Dan.
great
script.
cast.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you,
for
Jill.
directing
Great night.
Thank you,
great
Pat.
film.
Thank you, Florentino.
Florentino for the party and the producer.